Howdy-o, what do you know, this is Rabbit of ScrubLeet Academy, and we are back indeed-o today, and we're going to continue with the monster manual just to keep things going and get it done. Alright, so next we have animated objects, and I'm just going to go ahead and enter my favorite quest for those, which is Good Intentions, and we're going to go ahead and enter Elite Mode, because that spawns more mobs. As always, it spawns more mobs, you might as well go in. Now, once again, Carter is not up to the proper level to be able to do most of this extra content, so I'm not really going to bother too much on going into the epic or the legendary modes. We're just going to go ahead and go into the easy mode and jump right through all of this stuff, get over that, there we go, and just set off his animatic inventions. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this monster manual open just so that you guys can see that these things are contributing to your monster kills. And we're going to go ahead and open up the character deeds and just showcase that. And I'm just going to jump right over all of this and try to find all of these different objects, because that's what we really need, is just a plethora of different objects to make sure that everything we're getting is contributing. Large animated, we'll start with him. We'll start with him, and we're just going to go ahead and drop that because we're not doing a lot of damage. But as you can tell, these mobs are actually, at least for the ones that we're able to kill right here, they are contributing as you kill them. Yep, each individual one. We've got an animated object here. So let's get rid of that. 73. Let's go ahead and kill this one, actually. I want to see if that one... And it does, yes. Now, oh, Carter is not immune to negatives. That's very unfortunate. Well, let's go ahead and drop this thing before we keep taking those. And then we can bring all this over here. Bring all this over here and just sort of kill it off here. I think we're pretty much good. They don't like to take a lot of damage, so you probably would want to go ahead and hit them with something really big, like a meteor swarm. But as you can tell, they're all contributing, so that's exactly what we're looking for. And this dungeon is entirely full of animated objects. A few runs of this thing, and you will see that number soar. And if Carter could take this a little more, I'd be a little more apt to continue, but I'm just kind of showcasing what you can get away with here. And definitely beyond everything else, this dungeon is your best option. No question. You have no other dungeon that could possibly give you as many animated objects as this one could. But there isn't really too much to it. You just go around and you break stuff, and you break boxes, and you break these boxes. And that's about it. That's the whole dungeon. Everything done. And there we go. And what do we have now? So we're at 1697. We almost got ourselves to the 1700 mark just with that. That wasn't too bad. That was not bad at all. And once again, you could go through the house there. You could go under the water there. Everywhere in this dungeon is animated objects. So you don't have to worry too much about where you go. Just split the party up. I know you shouldn't split the party, but split the party up and just run through everything, kill it all off. And that's entirely it for animated objects. It's not a very complex one. We're kind of going through the simple ones at the moment, and then we'll get into the more difficult ones that are going to require a party or special mechanics, or there's just not that many of them. We'll get into those ones later. For now, animated objects, really straightforward. It is Good Intentions. Good Intentions is the place to go. And now it's time for our double feature. So we had to get rid of those negative levels. That just did not look good on me at all. But we're going in here, and if you haven't quite figured out what we're farming out today, which could actually be very difficult to figure out just because it's a very well-hidden secret. We're actually not farming nulls. We're not farming bats, as the bat just dropped. We're not farming trogs, we're not farming kobolds, we're not farming any of that. But we are going into the quest, Enter the Kobold. And the reason that we're doing it is because of living spells. Living spells. That is the only place to farm them. The rest of the places you could farm them are pretty bad. I mean, you could go into the Subterrane if you wanted. It's not all that big a deal, but it's pretty bad. So we're gonna go in here, and I'm not gonna make you sit through the entire dungeon as I run through the whole thing. I'm just sort of doing an intro here, and then I'll get to it, because actually the end fight of this dungeon is where we want to head. The final fight of this dungeon. And it's gonna take a bit to get to. Enter the Kobold is not a quick dungeon by any means, and it's not an easy dungeon at all. It's not an easy one, it's not a quick one. If you do not have characters that can handle this, I recommend you don't go into it just yet. But we're gonna go in because, well, I think I can handle it, even though I might just get destroyed. But I have decent reflex saving throw, so I might actually just be fine. And I will see you guys way on the other side. And now we are approaching the end fight. That took a bit of time, but it wasn't too bad. Honestly, I kind of like the puzzle, the Knight's Tour. I mean, it's already been solved on the Dito Wiki, but at the same time, I mean, it's kind of interesting just to sort of play it out. Anyway, so now we're here at the end fight, and this is the important thing that we're waiting for. So the major point here that you really have to keep in mind is do not kill the boss. The boss is the one that keeps things going for us. So let's go in there, we'll spawn him up, and we will run immediately away from him, if we possibly can. Which I think I aggroed him, so it's really unfortunate. But he should spawn us up a pretty little... There we go. Delayed Blast Fireball. So I want to open this up, get to our living spells, and show you that these things actually contribute. Now, you can see they're doing some crazy damage to me. So what we might want to do is just get out of there for a few minutes, because this is actually kind of painful. This is why I mentioned you definitely don't want to enter this fight unless you're ready for it. This character in particular is probably not super ready for it. And this is an epic level character too, so that's really weird, isn't it? Anyway, let's bring this back up. We'll try to kill this thing real quick like. They have a lot of HP for the mobs at their level, so keep that in mind. So that is contributing, so we know that the meteor swarms are contributing. And I just got destroyed. Alright, so that is an extraordinarily difficult dungeon. It is not for the faint of heart, but we did what we wanted to do. We proved our point here. But I don't think we're quite done with the test. See, we died like bitches, so we're gonna have to come back. Hoo-wee, and we are back at the firewall. Let's go through and try to do it better this time. And the reason that we had to come back, because first of all, we always have to come back, is that we didn't actually test out the Firestorm and the Delayed Blast Fireball. So we have to actually test these two out to see if we can get kills on them and if they contribute to our monster manual. We know that the Meteor Swarm does. So it's a matter of actually testing out to make sure everything does. So let's go ahead and head right in here. We know the Meteor Swarm is there. And we got the Firestorms, both of them. Let's get the Meteor, let's get the Meteor, let's get the Meteor. And get through all this. We got to get that DBF. We got to get that DBF. Because it looks like the meteor swarms are contributing, and it looks like everything is. There we go. Much better. Much better. Alright. So, and you notice that they will respawn pretty much endlessly. So you do want to make sure that you are actually ready for this dungeon. If you do not, you will die like my poor level 22 did. Which is really interesting. And we are back, and yes, they do respawn. This is actually so much better. So they do respawn pretty much endlessly. The living spells will respawn, but I noticed the methods aren't coming back as frequent. So I don't think they actually respawn, which is perfect for us. That's exactly what we're hoping for. We only want these guys. We only want these guys. So we're going to leave that boss alone. After you kill off your meteor swarms, your fireballs, just head back out here and go ahead and wait for them to reset. And it's just an endless cycle. It resets, it seems about once every, I don't know, minute or so. It's not a very good respawn timer, but it is an actual respawn timer, and these are really the only, well, this is the only quest to actually farm these guys out in. Once again, you can go into the Subterrane and farm them out that way too, but once you get to this point, you could actually just endlessly respawn camp them. But that's pretty much it. There's not much to this. He does the biggest damage, so keep an eye out for him. Maybe have somebody with good evasion and decent reflexes kite him around while everybody else deals with the meteor swarms. But as soon as he comes to this area, he despawns. As soon as he gets there. So it's not a big deal at all. And once more, Rangers are easily better tunes for this particular type of farm than anyone else. But just for the sake of it, I'm going to go ahead and leave out of this dungeon and just show you the other side of things in the Subterrane and see how the comparison is. And here we are at the Remembrance Stone leading to the Subterrane. Let's just go ahead, push aside the lid, and head right in. So basically the Subterrane is a much quicker version of the same thing, but it'll require a lot more recall reset stuff. So here we go, and I have tested all of these. These do contribute to the monster manual, but let's go ahead and just kill them off anyway. Living Firestorms, similar to what we were dealing with before. They should jump right up. Yep. 18, 13. So we do get them. So let's go across here. We'll get the Finger of Death, get the Chain Lightning, the Blast, Delayed Blast Fireball there, rather. So let's go ahead. We'll get them. And each of these should contribute. And honestly, initially this will be a quicker farm, but the recall time, the reset, and the run back in kind of makes this one feel more like Wraith farming in Free Delira. So it can be a little slower in a manner of speaking. And this is pretty much the best place to farm out all these. If you have more people, obviously more is always better. So I would recommend, if you've got the opportunity, if you've got the people, go ahead and get as many as you possibly can. But there's not a huge amount to this farm here. See, the other one takes a lot more to get to. This one is very quick and easy. You're going in and you're killing random dudes. And Living Harm actually does negative levels. That's very unfortunate. I don't like negative levels. I don't like them, Sam I am. These living spells, though, they are really, really powerful for their levels, so keep that in mind. Look at how much damage we are taking just by being level 22. Imagine if you were actually fighting these things at level. Much more dangerous. There's a Disintegrate. This one might get us our Monster Manual Slayer, actually. Or our Hunter, rather. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So let's head down there. We'll go ahead and get some of these spells down here. So the farm is actually going quicker. Maybe I should correct myself there. This is actually going quicker than it was previously. So maybe this is a better place to farm, especially if you have multiple players, because it's a wilderness zone. Wilderness zones tend to spawn more mobs if you have more people in the group. And things seem to be going pretty well here. I think we've pretty much got everything, though. And it's really this opening room, this first area here, that has all of what you want to farm. But that is all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button and share this everywhere you can. And don't forget to smash the notification button to stay up to date on all my new stuff. And if you're interested in going sleuthing, I've got a channel on Odyssey, which is a YouTube alternative, where I intend to post all of my news and other miscellaneous stuff that may or may not make it onto YouTube. So that'll give you a reason to jump between the two to see what's going on. You can always stop by Twitter, Discord, Twitch, or whatever, just to see if there's anything happening. Basically, just click everything in the description and go adventuring. Also, if you have a better place to farm out either objects or spells, go ahead and mention it. I'd love to get that discussion rolling. That being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.